Welcome back to class, everyone. Today, we're diving straight into the C03 module. I'll be your professor for this explainer, breaking down the logic of standard C library string functions step by step, so you can successfully build your own from scratch. Grab your notes, focus up, and let's get right into it.
Here's our syllabus. We'll start off by comparing strings, then move into concatenating them, finding substrings, learning a much safer way to concatenate, and finally, class dismissed with some major takeaways.
All right, section 1. Let's unpack ft_string_compare and ft_string_limp. We're going to focus on exactly how we compare two strings, character by character.
So, for exercise 00, your goal is to recreate this standard prototype. Essentially, you're building a function that takes two character pointers, S1 and S2, and iterates through these two null-terminated strings at the exact same time. It just marches forward character by character until it either hits a mismatch or it bumps into a null terminator, which tells us we've hit the end of a string. Simple enough, right?
Now, the return logic is actually incredibly straightforward once you map it out. If both strings are completely identical, you just return 0. If they differ, and the first differing character has a greater ASCII value in S1, you return a positive value. And naturally, if S1 is smaller, it returns a negative value. This works perfectly because under the hood, characters in C are literally just numerical values, so subtracting them gives you a direct mathematical comparison.
Okay, pay close attention to this edge case because it's a massive tip for passing your evaluations. You absolutely must cast your characters to unsigned char during that mathematical subtraction. Why? Well, standard chars can be signed. If you're testing against extended ASCII characters, you can easily run into signed overflow issues, which will completely throw off your logic. Casting prevents this entirely, ensuring you don't fail any of those tricky hidden tests.
Moving right along to exercise 01, we meet ft_string_compare. This uses the exact same base logic we just talked about, but it introduces an upper bound limit of n bytes. So instead of potentially checking the entire string, we're putting a hard stop on exactly how many characters we're willing to look at.
To code this successfully, just follow these steps. And watch out for step 1, it's a trap a lot of students fall into. If n is 0, your function has to exit immediately and just return 0, without checking a single thing. After that, you just iterate and compare, making sure to stop at a mismatch, a null terminator, or when that n counter is finally reached.
All right, section 2. Building ftstrcat and ftstrncat. Let's shift gears and look at how we actually glue two strings together.
For exercise 02, you need to build ft_strapcat. This function takes a destination string and a source string, and it simply appends your source to the very end of your destination, combining them into one single continuous array of characters.
Here's the core algorithm you'll want to implement. First, you've got to scan your destination string until you find its null terminating character. You have to know exactly where it currently ends. Then start copying your source string characters, deliberately overwriting that original null terminator. Finally, you have to append a brand new null terminator at the very end of your newly combined string. Oh, and don't forget to return the initial pointer to your destination string when you're done.
But before we move on, I want you to consider a really crucial question. What actually happens if the destination buffer simply isn't big enough to hold all those new characters? Think about memory allocation for a second.
Yeah, an unbounded append like that can literally crash your program by writing into memory it has absolutely no business accessing. So exercise 03 introduces ft_strncat, which limits the append operation to a maximum of nb characters. This gives you the explicit control needed to prevent those nasty buffer overflows.
A pro tip for your code here, you absolutely must guarantee that final null terminator. Even if you hit your NB limit early, you have to safely close out the string. Honestly, this is where most students fail the exercise. Just remember that your final destination will contain a maximum of the original destination length plus your NB characters plus exactly 1 byte for that explicit null terminator.
Section 3. The logic of ft_str_str. For exercise 04, we're transitioning from modifying strings to actually searching within them.
Your objective here is to locate the very first occurrence of the substring toFind inside the main str string. You're basically building a mini search engine for character arrays.
Now, the most crucial edge case to handle here is an empty toFind string. If you don't account for this, your logic will definitely fail the evaluation. You want to handle that right at the top of your code by returning the main string immediately. Otherwise,
Just scan character by character and return a pointer to the exact beginning of the match. And if there's no match at all, just return a null pointer.
Section 4. Mastering FT_calcat. For our final exercise, 05, we're tackling FT_calcat. This is a robust, size-bounded alternative designed specifically to prevent the exact buffer overflows we were just talking about. Notice that this prototype looks a bit different from our previous concatenation functions. It actually takes the full size of the destination buffer as a parameter, and it returns an unsigned integer rather than a character pointer. This fundamentally changes how we need to approach the logic.
You'll want to follow this logic block exactly. Step 1, calculate both of your initial string lengths. Step 2, if your size parameter is less than or equal to the destination length, you literally cannot append anything without overflowing, so you just return size plus the source length. Step 3, if size is greater, append a maximum of size minus destination length minus 1. And step 4, your function absolutely must guarantee a null termination as long as the size parameter is strictly greater than 0.
I know the logic behind the return value can be pretty confusing, but it breaks down nicely based on the buffer condition. Essentially, the function always returns the total length of the string it tried to create, regardless of whether it actually had enough space to finish creating it.
The brilliance of returning the attempted length is that the programmer using your function can just check if the return value is greater than or equal to the size limit they provided. If it is, they instantly know the data was cut off and truncated. It's really a fantastic built-in safety mechanism.
Section 5. Class dismissed. Before we wrap up this explainer, let's review the foundational programming habits you really need to take away from these exercises.
Keep these tips in mind while you write your code, because these concepts are the absolute backbone of memory management in C. Never assume a null terminator is just magically there. You have to manage it explicitly. Always, always respect your buffer limits to prevent crashes. Remember to cast to unsigned chars for math, and fully utilize those return values for safety checks.
All right, you are now fully equipped to conquer the C03 module. But before you go, ask yourself this. You've mastered basic string manipulation here, but how will these functions hold up when memory allocation becomes dynamic in the coming modules? What happens when we simply don't know the size of our strings ahead of time? Keep that in the back of your mind as you continue coding. Good luck with your evaluations, class, and I'll see you next time.